Well, good evening, people of the night. You're listening to the world's greatest DJ, full-time anthropologist, part-time booty inspector, and your best friend. Why, that's me, Julian Orbit. And we'll just get to tonight's subject here. We're discussing The Empty Man 2020, directed by David Pryor. Maybe he's related to Richard Pryor? Who knows? Because I couldn't find anything about this director. Starring Stephen Root and Ron Canada. If you don't know who Stephen Root is, he was on News Radio. There's a show everyone might remember. Joe Rogan's on it, and he has hair. That's all it is. And he was Milton in Office Space, another classic film that everybody just loves. And everyone else is just sort of vaguely familiar, but I can't quite place them in anything. I don't know who these actors are, but I think they did a great job. So with that, sit back, relax, hang on, and hold tight, because we are the night. And joining us tonight, your friend, my friend, everyone's bestie, best friend ever, Mabobious. And we're live. I wasn't expecting that the slightest. Nice, dude.
There we go. Wow.
There we go. We're
what
live.
an entrance. What an awesome entrance by myself.
Dude, we all have things going on in life, and we're just not doing it as much as we used to. But we're here for you guys on this beautiful Thanksgiving weekend, long weekend. Everyone's got tomorrow and Monday off, extra long weekend. So I hope enjoy the show. And check
the kids got 4 days off. 4 days.
4 whole days of
4 days off. God damn it.
Yeah, no more free babysitting services for you guys. Your kids are home. They need attention.
Want to get laid? Too bad.
Yeah, you ain't getting laid. They're there to cause a disruption. You want to stay up late and watch shows like this? Too bad, the kids are there.
Oh, but you can stay up late and do shows like this. No, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Yeah, we're not bad. We're good guys. We're here to talk about a movie for once. You guys remember when we did movie reviews? Well, we're doing them again.
Yeah, we're doing a movie review tonight, guys. I mean,
it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
But hey, we had Julian and we had a conversation yesterday, and I said, "Hey, man, you got to check out this movie because
you did."
The movie we're reviewing, I don't know if you can see by the thumbnail, very, very, very underrated film.
Very.
And it came out at the most wrong fucking time. It's right when COVID hit, right when everything went down. It was it was a product of Fox Studios, and it was right around the time that Disney bought out Fox, and it was just the perfect storm of like bad things to happen to a movie like this. But I guarantee you, it's gonna, this movie is gonna be a cult. It's gonna be a cult horror film in like 5-10 years. It's gonna be like what's that movie where they were on the train and everybody was like the Ice Age train movie or whatever?
Snowpiercer. Yes.
Yeah,
it's
gonna be like Snowpiercer. Yeah, it's gonna be that level. It's cosmic horror. It's just really good, and I really enjoyed it. You did too.
Yes, I did. I actually did. I put it on. And I was like, okay, let's see this. Because I do believe this is one of the last releases. Well, it is one of the last releases by 21st Century Fox, including the New Mutants.
Before they were officially Disney.
And then Disney gave it the old "Who cares?" Like,
That's exactly what happened.
didn't promote it. It was in the theaters for like 2 to 3 days, and that's it.
Yeah.
Ow! Like that alone is a crime. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for that type of stuff right now because her movie.
What?
Yeah, it wasn't in the theater because they released the streaming and the theater at the same time.
Oh,
And-
her movie, her Marvel.
Yeah,
movie.
the Black Widow thing.
Yeah.
So this not getting any. No one knows about this movie. Everyone I've talked to are like, "What are you talking about?" They have no idea it exists. None. And I know I'm making little jabs at the director, but who is this guy? And every actor in this, I slightly recognize them, but I don't. Like they might be something from something I've seen, but that. Just saying that it doesn't.
Oh, I
affect.
do recognize one of the actors, but I'm gonna wait till we get to the screenshot section. I'm sure he's in one of them.
I don't feel that it affects the overall quality of the film at all. Like, this is. How do I describe it? It's slow. I'll give you that. It's very slow.
It's a slow burn for sure.
Slow burn with one of the greatest fake outs I've ever seen in my life. I couldn't even believe that. Like, it blew my mind that was like, oh man, we gotta get into this. It's like,
well,
yes.
It's like it's I don't want to spoil it too bad because I feel like if you're watching this stream, you 80% chance you haven't seen it, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's kind of like cosmic horror. It's very Lovecraftian, I found.
Right.
In its nature, kind of like supernatural and very subversive, and you're given little hints as to what's going on, and they just keep dropping the hints throughout the movie, and it's based on a graphic novel.
I was gonna bring that up. I thought I wrote that down. Oh well. Yeah, it's based on a comic book by Boom Studios that I've never read and never heard of until now. But I did look at some of the artwork, and it's pretty impressive for a horror comic. I kind of actually want to check this out.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's deeper. Like, I saw the critics; they're complaining about the length of the film, but a comic book adaptation to cover this amount of ground. This could have been a TV series and should have been longer, in my opinion. What do you think? Like we're taking a lot.
I don't know. I feel I feel like they covered, like, when I sat down. This is not a movie you're like, oh, like it's 9:30 and I'm gonna do something until I fall asleep. That's not that kind of movie. It's the kind of movie it's like, okay, well, because it's how long is it? 2 hours.
2.25 hours, something like that. Yeah,
2:15 or something like that. It's not a movie you're gonna want to watch casually. It's definitely something that you're gonna set aside some time for. But I mean, I'm certainly glad I did.
I agree.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I put it on. I made some nachos and just let's check it out. Because our views on films, they usually line up pretty close. So here we go. It's all good. That's why I love streaming on Twitch and DLive, NFC2,
and
all the good places. Wherever else.
And what's it called?
Trovo.
What was it called? MTGOW.tv.
Oh yeah, we're over on MGTOW.tv with all of our friends there.
Yeah, we're on all the
major places.
Streaming services.
Yeah, we're over on MGTOW with the We're Not Incels group. Sure you're not.
Yeah, man. We
Yeah,
took the
man.
blue pill. I mean, wait, no, the red pill? Which pill is it? The
Dude,
red pill.
they're
We
the
took the
clown pill.
red pill, people.
Yeah,
We're through the looking glass.
So before we get into this one, what do you think of like the new Matrix stuff?
I've purposely been avoiding it completely until I see the movie.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like I don't know, I feel like everything nowadays is spoiled by the what's the word? The meta. You know, like you just get into the meta of everything nowadays, and like everything is just it's just so broken down by the meta before you even are exposed to it. So for the Matrix, because I really enjoyed the first Matrix, the second two, they were okay, they were good, but I feel like the fourth one, so the fourth one, yeah. I feel like this one that's coming up, I'm just gonna avoid all the media, avoid all the talk about it until I get to view it. Because if I learned anything, I learned that from watching like UFC, being a fan of like mixed martial arts, and like I won't even touch Facebook until I see the fights, because I know that one of my friends on Facebook who's into mixed martial arts is gonna be like, "Yeah, GSP won." I was like, "Oh, thanks,
Just
bud."
wreck it.
Yeah, now I know who won.
Let's get into at least a screenshot here, so we're sorted
Yeah,
on topic.
let's do the movie review part of our movie review before we.
All right. So we start off. That's the guy I was talking about. I think.
The guy in the middle.
Yeah, I think he was on that TV show that was based on. I don't know. I call him Fake Bradley Cooper. He kind of has that vibe going.
Yeah, and the guy on the right, he kind of looks like the guy from Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Right.
He kind of looks like his older brother or something.
Oops.
We do this all for the fun, people. We don't care about how many people are viewing.
Yeah, it's 100% hobby, so.
That's how this show started out, and that's why we were getting like, 100,000 views on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's just a hobby. We don't care.
Monks. Yes. Why are they there?
Well,
okay, spoilers, everybody, spoilers. If you haven't seen this movie and you're like kind of interested in horror movies and you want to see a decent one, watch it first, then come back to this review. Like and subscribe. Do what you gotta do.
Hit follow.
I really, I really want to put people's enjoyment of this movie above our own, like the show's need for subscribers or whatever like that. Because I enjoyed this movie. I really did.
I agree with you. I did too. But like, I don't want to be just some typical, it's garbage, because it's, it's a film. It's good. No, I enjoyed it for once, and we're not going to sit here and completely cut it down, but we might just a little bit. So what was happening in those scenes, right, is that you're hearing this noise, this like like a Buddhist kind of like chanting noise, like, oh, like that, right? And then it shows the truck, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that was. These guys are like meditating or something, right? And there he is again. I don't know where I know this guy from. I've seen him in something, maybe TV. No clue.
I think he might be in the movie I'm watching with Rebecca Hall called Night House.
Oh, Night House. Never heard of it.
I think he might be the husband from Night House. Yeah, I'm halfway through it. I don't got a lot of time anymore to watch movies and stuff, so sometimes I stagger them. I watch the first half and the second half when I have time. So, but Night House, it's proving to be a
Night House
with Rebecca Hall, and she looks kind of borderline anorexic in it, I must say.
She's getting
But
older, so
yeah,
that's the go-to, you know.
I don't
When
know.
you get older, lose the weight and
Yeah, I don't know.
still
It's
kind of
just
hot.
no, I don't. You know what? Like, no, I don't find that attractive. I don't know if any of you guys out there do,
You
but
might
I think that's a female thing because like women think that they need to be
have
that
the
skinny.
yeah. Well, it makes them look younger, right? That's the
I don't know that it does though. I think
sometimes. Well, at least the
having, I think, I mean, not having a few pounds, but you know what I mean, like
and it
being
gets
healthy, just looking healthy. That's hot. Just look
mhm.
healthy. That's it.
Yeah, heroin chic is so 90s. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Exactly.
out of fashion.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So there he is. I like that bridge. Cool. Um, they're going on like a spelunking thing, and we come across
No, they're
this.
not. He just falls down a crevice and they're like, "What the where did he go?"
Is that what happened? Man,
Yes.
yeah. All of a
And
sudden,
this skeleton is actually inspired by
it's look like
an
H.R.
artist.
Geiger kind of stuff.
No, it's not H.R. Geiger. It's somebody else. It's probably Russian. I forget, but definitely Geiger-esque in its nature,
Very.
for sure.
Yeah. That's a feeling I was getting at, and
But yeah, totally. The guy falls into the crevice, and
mhm.
his buddy's like, okay, he spelunks down and he finds them just kneeling in some fugue state in front of this thing.
Yeah,
And
like right there.
that's when you're like, whoa,
Yeah, what's going on here? Like,
yeah,
is this thing have
are you okay,
powers?
buddy?
What's going on? Yeah, it definitely. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting a little more interested. What's happening here?
It
And
almost like Prometheus, kind of like alien
mm-hmm.
vibe to it.
This, uh, yeah, hang on, I'm about to throw it up, but yeah. So he ends up carrying his buddy because he's like in, like you said, a fugue state. They find this house
Mhm.
there, and basically everyone's just kind of like freaked out about what's going on. He's explaining things. You know, the two girlfriends, the ones like going crazy from this. There's a goat. I like goats. They're cool. And I found this scene here. I don't know, like if you ever saw the original movie of The Thing, like the black and white one. It's
No.
like the thing from another planet.
Mhm.
This reminded me of that, like, oh, like just the beginning part there where she's looking out the door, she sees the figure out in the snow. That it's almost shot for shot. It's I'm like, oh wow, that's like right from
So
the
an
thing.
homage.
Yes. Yes. And you know, you start getting those tropes, like typical tropes of them at the beginning here. You know, we see this guy, he goes out in the snow. We had the mysterious creature, and then this happens. You know the
Yes.
scene, right?
And that yeah, that scene is where it's like, uh, it changes the dynamic of the
It
movie
changes
for me,
the entire movie is
totally.
a different movie after this. I'm
And
like,
it
what?
what's great and, like, this is the scene, like, this scene, what I like about this, or what
Mhm.
the one of the things that really knocked me on the floor about this movie is that this is the opening scene, and it's 20 minutes long, and it
22:36.
yeah, and you're glued to the screen. Like when I first watched this, because I'll be honest, I was turned on to this movie on YouTube because um, I don't know, I forget.
You're
I
looking
go
for a
on
movie,
YouTube and
right?
I get lost. I get completely fucking lost,
Down the
and
rabbit hole.
yeah, down the rabbit hole, and I found a review of this movie. I'd love to give credit to who did because they deserve all the credit in the world for turning me on to this movie. But
Okay.
um, he brought up the fact that this was 20 minutes long, and then I stopped it and I was like, I'm gonna watch this movie, and I purchased the movie legitimately and watched it,
Yeah.
and this scene was the opening scene. It just sells you on the entire movie, because and what's cool about it is that it's like the first scene. If you're not into long shit, if you're not into long movies, like if you're into those, what's that what's that science fiction-y YouTube channel that does those like little shorts? Dust or Dusk or something like that?
There's like 20 of them.
Yeah, but like if you're into that, you could watch this 20-minute intro and you could be entertained by that. And that's what it
True.
does. It sets you up. It's almost like the first Blair Witch Project, kind of, where you're set up and you get the idea. And if that's enough for you, you could walk away and just be like, oh, that's great. That was awesome. But you watch the rest of the movie, and that's where the slow burn starts, where you're...
Yes. The very fact that we had a 20-minute intro and setup, I feel that was the ultimate fake out. These aren't the characters, and I was invested in these characters already.
That's right.
I'm like, what? Are you serious? And we're not going to spoil it for you guys. Like, this is just, the intro. Like, that's why I didn't take shots of that stuff.
If you're here, then you're okay to be spoiled, because we did the we gave a spoiler warning, but yeah. So I mean, let's just go all out here.
Well, at the same time, there's certain things in that scene. If you're gonna watch it for the first time,
right?
I don't want it ruined, because I did not see any of that coming.
Let's be subversive, just like this fucking movie.
Oh, it's subversive. And
yeah.
So we come across this guy, and it's his birthday, and he does not.
And you're watching this movie, and you're like, "Who is this guy? Why is he here? What am I doing?
I think
am I wasting my time?
Yeah, that's exactly
what's going on."
I'm just like, who is this guy? I think he was on a cop show like years ago on TV. Like, I have no idea who he is. Like, why is he there? What is going on with this dude?
What does this have to do with what I just spent 20 minutes watching? What's going on?
I liked how they like singing happy birthday to him, but it's so half-hearted. They're like, happy birthday.
Yeah, because he uses the coupon. And then they like come out, and he's like, oh my God, this is the price you pay, because everything comes with a cost. Everything comes with a cost. And that's the whole
film.
The whole idea is everything comes with a cost. And it's just foreshadowing. It's very well done.
So we get introduced to this character, and I have no idea who she is still. Is that his stepdaughter? I don't understand.
No, that's his neighbor's daughter.
The neighbor, okay, well, yes, I'll get into that.
The neighbor.
Okay.
He's the neighbor. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, he lives next door to the family, and that right there is the daughter.
So we think. Let's move on.
And he's got, we'll cover that later, but
so he's taking doxapin. I don't know what that is.
Which it's an anti-anxiety. Its primary function is I actually looked it up while I was watching the movie. It's an anti-anxiety medicine.
Yeah, I had to get that shot though, because I like these kinds of quick shots in movies where it sort of explains something. Beautiful lens, by the way. And then we start seeing this stuff everywhere. The empty man made me do it.
And that's where we get into...
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, I'll say it. That's where we get into one of the downfalls of why this movie is not given the credit that it's due, is the empty man. And this movie came out around a little after the Slender Man shit.
Oh, my exact same thing. I was about to say that.
Yeah, and so,
And Bye
like,
Bye Man.
people yeah, and, like, what's the movie title? Like, The Empty Man?
Yeah.
Right? So, automatically, people are gonna discount this movie as, like, "Oh, it's a ripoff of The Slender Man." It's personally, I think it's better than The Slender Man by, like, a huge, huge margin. I don't even know why The Slender Man I watched The Slender Man, I thought it was garbage. Honestly, didn't like it.
Well, I didn't mind seeing Jessica Biel. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
but
yeah.
the movie itself, I wouldn't say it was garbage, but it was definitely like
Well, the thing is, Slender Man is an internet meme, and they made a movie
yeah.
out of it. And it's like, ugh, right there, discounted. At the same
Well,
time,
wasn't that based off real events? Like they
no, it's nonsense, dude.
oh,
So, and then they made Bye Bye Man at the same time. And at the time that they're finishing principal photography on this, they started making the new Candyman. So it's like you got
yes.
Slender Man, Bye Bye Man, Empty Man, and Candyman. And this is like
There's
the
way
only
too many
one.
men.
Yeah, made too many
I
horror
watched The
guys.
Candyman the day before I watched this.
Hmm, pretty good.
Yes. October. It's October, man. It's horror movie time.
We should do some more
Um,
horror reviews this month.
Candyman wasn't bad. It wasn't
Okay,
too bad.
is it the same actor from the old ones? I don't know. I haven't seen it.
He's in it. That's as much
Cool.
as I'll say. He's in
I
it.
gotta watch that tomorrow. It'll be fun.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. It's Jordan Peele. So
Okay,
Jordan Peele,
his twist on it. Okay, okay, okay.
well, Jordan Peele doesn't around. He's pretty good.
All right.
He does a good
Yeah,
job.
definitely check it out.
And the main character from that is you remember that Black Mirror episode where the two guys like are in the fighting game?
Yep, I
Yeah.
remember.
He's the main character is the guy. He's the guy from that. Um that's all the only person I recognize. But he plays it's very have you seen Velvet Buzzsaw?
No, it's on my list though.
It's very indicative of Velvet Buzzsaw. Like when I watched Velvet Buzzsaw when that first came out, and then
Hmm.
when I watched Candyman, I got some very Velvet Buzzsaw
Some
vibes from it.
connections there. Okay,
Yeah, definitely some connections there. But it was pretty good. It was
right
pretty
on.
good. I enjoyed it.
So we can establish that we have the mirror, we got the writing on it. It's a very common trope, but that is what makes this good as well. Because you think that this is like central to the plot, right?
You're
And
being manipulated.
like everything in this. I'm surprised Ryan Johnson isn't involved because everything gets subverted somehow to
Oh,
some. I know, I had to say it, but really,
very
it's
good. Nice one.
yeah. You think this is going to be a thing, and it comes up again, but it's not really central to the plot. It's to trick you, and I find that genius in this. It's subtle. I don't know about this director. This might be his first outing or whatever, but keep an eye on this guy. I'm serious.
It's based on a graphic novel though, and a very well written graphic novel. And
Yes.
this is the hint. These are the hints. I mean, it's you can kind of see it.
Hmm. So by the time you get to this point in the movie, you're not really watching a horror film anymore. And that is where
No, you're not.
my mind took off. This guy, he's well, it shows earlier that he works in a gun store, right? Was it a gun store? Something
He's
like
like a
that.
security specialist. He's an
Yeah.
ex-cop security specialist.
And he's next cop. But the movie, we're not even worried about any of this stuff at this point. Like we're getting a little bit of background information with the
Mhm.
neighbor's daughter and the I don't know who that the lovely. the, the lovely female from the steam room scene. Guys, watch the movie just for that. If that's what you're into. I know I enjoyed it. And this is no longer a straight horror film or supernatural film. It's a detective movie. And that, like, I like my hat right off. I'm like, what? It's a detective film at this point. I'm like, this, are you serious? Like, that blew me away. So I'm going to give the director that. I know it's based on the graphic novel. I haven't read the novel, and if it's shot for shot, hey, I'm cool with that. That's fine. But whoever wrote this, wow, like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, to have those type of subversions, and we're not even an hour in, and we've transitioned into a third type of movie. So now it's a horror detective film, and we don't even know if it's actually a horror film, because the sequences in the first section there, that's, who knows what they're even about, like, because there's no direct connection to anything in this part of the film.
There's
And
two
it,
setups. There's two
yeah,
setups.
you too.
There's the first and the second setup.
Hmm. I found it interesting. I liked what they're doing there, and you're thinking it's just high school kids, and they're doing
Well,
one
it
of
pretty
the,
much is.
yeah, they are, but from the viewer's perspective, and this is just my opinion, but they're just high school kids doing a goofy, like, like, what's that one where you say Mother Mary or whatever, and they
Yeah,
shoot
Bloody
heroes?
Mary.
Yeah. Bloody
Bloody
Mary,
Mary.
yeah.
Candyman. Same.
Exact same stuff. I like these shots. They're very Kubrick-esque. And, I always
Yes.
appreciate that, because it does invoke a sense of individual loathing and fear when you have those center type
Emptiness.
shots. There's
Emptiness.
emptiness. Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Yep. Um,
Very cool.
and like one like slow burn is kind of the where I think we're both going with this. Is a very slow burn.
Hmm.
Um, if I had
Definitely.
to pick apart anything, they do get a little obvious with some of the things, and I think that's for the benefit of the audience, where they're like, well, if they don't get it, let's just throw this in, and that
Yeah.
screenshot right there is kind of one of those examples where you're just like, if you're really really following the movie, and if you're a movie person, and you're
Yeah.
and
If
you're
you're a film
kind
connoisseur.
of keen, then you don't need to see some of the stuff. But I mean, that's kind of my only criticism of the movie. Is one of my criticisms of the movie is that they kind of do the obvious. They overdo it a little bit in some parts, like this screenshot here, but it is essential to the plot, because
Hmm. Because it's
you
not what
need
we think
that's
at
right.
all.
It's not what you think. And spoilers, I mean, this is the second warning. I'm telling you guys, this is one of those movies where um the surprise of the movie, how the movie hits you, is one of the good things about the movie. And this is the second warning, where if you haven't seen this movie, and if you are sold, watch the movie before you get beyond this point,
Yeah.
because I don't want to I don't want to spoil it.
No,
I really don't
I
want
don't
to spoil it.
either.
I really enjoyed this movie, and if I was watching this review and I hadn't seen the movie and I got to this point, I would be glad that I stopped at this point and
What I
purchased the
really
movie legitimately and watched it.
what I really like about this part here, the scene we're looking at, is that at at first you're watching it, you get that, like, Invasion of the Body Snatchers or the Puppet Master, like
Mhm.
that kind of vibe with the way the people are acting. And then once again, it's something completely not expected to be revealed later, and that just it kind of it blew me away. Like even when, like, I'm trying to, for the sake of brevity, right? I didn't take a million screenshots like we always do, but
Yeah.
like the cop goes to
Oh.
oof, essentially the cop, he goes to the high school and just like he's not a cop anymore, right? And he just
No,
gets
he's a
on.
private investigator now.
Yeah, well, he thinks he is, and he just calls over a high school girl, gets her to sit in the car with him.
Why don't you come in my car?
Yeah, he's a.
Do you want a
they have a-
cigarette?
Yeah, it's like all of which is very suspect, but as to be revealed later on, you know.
Sorry.
For what? And let's go back to these guys here.
Training.
So he returns to the bridge, our investigator guy that really needs to shave and maybe have a shower, and
He looks like he belongs in a Starfleet uniform. A red Starfleet uniform.
perhaps I wish I would have looked him up, but
Yeah, I didn't look him up either. But as you can see, I wish, like, remember I said I recognized one of the guys. So that guy right there with the black hair.
mm-hmm.
Have you watched The Stand? The series The Stand?
There's this. No, I haven't seen that.
No, it's
I read the
on.
book.
It's either on. It's either on one of the two major stream, Prime or Netflix. I forget which one.
I'll
But
check it
there's
out.
a series. There's a series for The Stand. I think it's like 10 episodes. But yeah, the guy who plays, if you've watched The Stand, you'll know. If you haven't, then you won't. But he's definitely from The Stand. He plays one of the teenagers, and the reason they hung themselves because the detective goes to the bridge and he hears a sound, and he sees the trapdoor that all the teenagers had used in this scene earlier to do teenager things.
Mm-hmm.
He goes down that trapdoor under the bridge, and he sees that right there.
Really?
All of the teenagers hung themselves except for the one pictured earlier, who was the neighbor of the detective.
I thought stepdaughter for a long time until we get further into it, and then we come across Ron Canada. I actually recognize him. He's in lots of cop stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always like the hard grizzled like sergeant, you know. So it's like, I know that guy.
When you go to get your tires changed and they have a TV in the foyer and it's locked to a channel with a cop show on, and you see him.
There he is, telling someone where to go. And so our detective, he's doing some Google-esque research, and we come across
Wikipedia. Did you check to see if those were like legit Wikipedia links or no?
No, I wish I did. It's okay. I'm sure someone out there will and be like, actually, guys.
Furthermore,
yeah, you don't know what you're talking about because I looked it up and this is real. Okay. Good for you. Watch a movie. But I did like that. Thought plus concentration plus time equals flesh.
And I like how they incorporate like Wikipedia and like online, the media, and all that into it because I mean
Yeah.
that's kind of a part of our lives now, and that's a part of how we obtain knowledge now.
Yeah, we see that once the tulpa is endowed with enough, like, but we start learning about like Tibetan tulpas and stuff. It's very interesting. Like, you guys, this is worth a second viewing just to like look at the lore.
Yeah, it's very layered for sure.
It's
Very
incredibly
layered.
layered. Like I said, this director,
This is his
I can't wait.
debut.
Yeah, I can't wait for the next film. Someone to keep an eye on.
Well, it's like it's gonna take a while for this one because, like I said, like we've established, this is a very underappreciated movie. It's gonna take it's gonna take a few years for people to like Snowpiercer level.
Hmm.
Like it's gonna take a few years for this one to sink in, and people are going to start watching it. There's going to be some people who view this and they're going to be like, holy crap, this is actually like a really good movie.
Yeah.
And it's going to sink in. This is going to sink into the mythos of like horror genres. And maybe we'll see a sequel. Probably not. I hope not, honestly.
No, I don't. I don't want a sequel.
This one, yeah, this stands on its own. It's like a really clever sports play. It just and it knocks it out of the park. It really
It
does.
does. It does. You guys got to check this out. Just watch this movie. You'll enjoy it so much.
And this is a third warning for the spoiler alert because I'm telling you guys, come on.
I I've always liked this shot in films. The medicine cabinet from the other side. That's
Oh yeah, anything. The focus.
common trope, but I love it.
And it's the wedding ring they're focused
Mhm,
on.
exactly. So he goes to that. He did find like a pamphlet for some organization. I got the name later on. And he goes there, and they just before even letting him in the door, they just like fill this out. And they
Yeah,
hand him
this
this
is like
thing.
the TELUS application.
That's
Do you
it's
remember
very weird.
The TELUS job application questionnaire?
Yes, yes.
That's
It's
exactly
so
like
weird.
it. It's like, I like to watch things burn. Hmm. Who doesn't like to watch things burn?
I know
It's
it's
like
just
they're
so
questioning your
weird.
honesty, is what
It's
they're doing.
like the guy can't even just talk to someone. No, you have to fill that out, sir. And
Yeah.
I had to get a shot of that. It made me laugh. Then we get Stephen Root. Yes,
Steven Root.
I
Oh,
get
he's in
Milton, bro.
everything.
He rules, dude. Isn't he the voice of like one of the characters on King of the Hill? And
Yeah, this guy is everywhere. If you've watched a movie or a cartoon or anything,
his
if you've
voice,
looked
and
at a
yeah,
screen with sound on it,
he's out
you've
there. He's
probably been exposed to Stephen Root.
Yeah, news radio when Joe Rogan had hair.
Oh, Joe Rogan.
Before Dave Foley was so
He's
weird.
yeah, before yeah, Joe
Like,
Rogan. He's probably not going to do any UFC stuff anymore. I don't think he is.
I think he's getting to the point he's a little too old for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have a chat. I thought very, very interesting chat. Like I could watch that scene probably about 3 or 4 times and come away with different answers.
Yeah,
Um
almost like the do you remember the movie Heat
mhm.
with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro?
Oh
Kind of
yeah.
reminds me of their little cafe chat.
Yeah, the back and forth where you don't really
Yeah,
learn
the
anything, but
back exactly, but you're intrigued nonetheless.
neither one is answering anything. It's like, what's
No,
going on here?
but they're both talking mad shit and they don't even know it.
And yeah, so our protagonist, he's exploring this compound from this cult. Just looking around, really, and I found it very how I don't know how they could run a building like this. It's like you go in the front, it's beautiful, and then it's just dilapidated. You have these people in like these disgusting industrial settings talking about the singularity. and transmissions. I'm like, what is this about?
Oh, yes, but it's all very, very
Everything's
important
tied
to the
together.
plot.
We come across this guy.
That asshole.
Yeah, I can't remember what he called him. It wasn't James Dean, but it was like a really old reference that like nobody would get.
Oh, yeah.
What's with the
Oh,
James Garner routine,
yeah, and
Chief?
he's
You
like,
know,
"What? Who's that, bro?"
really strange. And I actually like this scene because of how absolutely odd it is. Like this guy's behavior is it makes no sense because he's obviously part of the cult, right?
Yeah, but he's helping him.
He's
That's
helping
one of
him.
my other criticisms of the movie. I feel like this guy was kind of added in as an afterthought to move the plot forward because
Okay.
like I feel like he was acting as an agent of the antagonist side of the plot, but he was also like he's kind of like playing both sides,
Right.
but where does he benefit? Like there's nothing where it's like, okay, where does he benefit? I'm asking myself this. There's no answer. I can't
Well,
answer that question. Where does
we're
he fit
getting
in? He doesn't quite fit into that. But
I
yes, if you watch till the end,
then it
then
makes
he does.
sense.
Then he makes
Okay.
sense. Spoiler warning number 4.
That's right, guys. You gotta watch the film. It's I can't believe how layered this is for our first outing. Like, wow. There, the Pontifex
Pontifex
Society.
Society. That's
Retransmit, you
that's
receive.
the Wikipedia link. And what's and remember, if you remember, like when he Google or when he like yeah he does a Google search for Pontifex, and the
Mhm.
first link yields no results, and then he like he scrolls down a little bit, which is that's genius because
It is because that's what you do.
yeah, that's what you do because it's not always the first link. It's something down. You have to scroll down a bit to find the truth of the
Yeah.
matter when
Otherwise,
you're Googling something.
you'll end up watching an ad.
That's rule number 1 of using Google, because the top links are like sponsored or
Yeah.
or it's socially engineered. I'm gonna Google the Pontifex Society. Let's see, Pontifex. So let's see, because in the movie, his first How the Horror Flop, The Empty Man became a great cult hit. There's already like talk about this movie being. I had the decency to mute myself when I take a piss.
Not every time. Fucking liar.
Very true. Very true.
Guys, you can literally go back and visually see the.
Every other single video, except for this one, where I like talk so much shit about it.
There's literally a live stream sitting on YouTube where this guy passes out so drunk and then sleeps for an hour, wakes up, goes and takes a leak, and then lays back down and forgets that we're still streaming. It's just like,
I wouldn't go that far.
no, that happened. Yeah.
Maybe it did. I don't.
Oh yeah, dude. We had you full screen. We had you full screened while we're all still talking, and you're like just like let's just watch what he does. That's when our live streams are like 6-7 hours though.
Yeah, and that's when you were doing Alex Jones imitations or
Mhm. Just being a total nutcase.
oh man, that was the best. Do you even still have that live stream, the one where we did the trivia and you got like totally you just got wrecked and you started going into this like Alex Jones imitation kind of thing, and like, oh my god, I was on the floor laughing so hard at that, and then I watched
Still
it like
got
a
it.
few days later, and I still laughed that hard. It was
Oh
just
yeah.
comedy gold.
We try around here. Well, that was 4 beers. Woof. I haven't had a drink in over a month. They're hitting me hard. Holy.
I'm close to done my bottle of Russian
Nice.
water,
Well,
but I've thrown a little G0 into it just to
yeah, keep it
balance
chill.
things.
Keep it chill. We might want to talk in a bit, and let's get back to the Pontifex, the Pontiac
Pontifex
Society,
Society.
and
And
this
this
is a
is where we unravel another layer.
yeah, I've noticed this trope though in a lot of modern horror films. CRT televisions and VCRs. Oh, they're scary.
Yes.
And I like
This
that.
scene was awesome.
Dude, this is straight out of that Nicolas Cage movie. You know the one, The Bees. Like that,
Bees!
The Bees. This reminded me of that. What the hell's that called? The Wicker Man. He's another
Wicker
man.
Man.
The Wicker Man.
Man. Wicker Man. Enderman.
Can we make
Empty Man.
Can we make a superhero team that just has the men? Just the Wicker Man. You got Candy Man. You got the Bye Bye Man.
Yeah.
Just have them all together, and they're a team.
Well, I mean, the
That's cool. Copyright beat Squid.
this reminded me of Django a little bit.
Oh,
Like, just
we want to explore that, dude.
well, no, like the cult thing. It's
Mhm.
and that's where the whole idea of a bunch of brainwashed idiots comes into play. And
Right.
he's observing them from and it's funny because I was
It's
watching
from
the
the audience
movie.
perspective, don't you think?
Yeah, and I was watching the movie because yeah, exactly. That's exactly the point because I was watching the movie um with my significant other and we were both watching it and he's watching them from the shadows and they're having their little clan meeting and and she's sitting on the couch next to me and she's like and then they like turn and look at him and she's like nope and like 10 seconds later the exact same thing happens and like they all turn and then
Yeah.
they take a step towards him and he's like this I'm out of here. And then they all are after him, walking through. They don't give a fuck. They're walking through the water. They don't care. He's running away. They're running after him.
Yeah, he even says like, "Nope." Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I ain't not
Because
dealing
and
doing
you're
this.
watching this. The audience is watching this, and that's the exact same reaction we're having
Yeah,
as
like
the main character.
it's the exact same thing. I'd be like, "I'm out.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah,
not dealing
babe.
with." Oh
What
my
the
god.
fuck is going on? I'm leaving. I don't need to be explained by anybody in this situation why they're doing what they're doing. I just want out.
Yeah, and so he goes to the police. I love this part. And the guy, he says, "You're not a cop anymore." I'm like, "Oh, he used to be a cop. Okay, that's
Yeah.
sort of like because I don't think it's clearly stated or like it's so quick that you might miss it. But at this point, I didn't even know he used to be a cop. I just thought he was a nut job, like security guard
Oh no,
kind of
it's
guy. Like,
established. But the look
uh,
on this guy's face, like CSI Miami,
mhm.
scene, or what's that? The
But
Wire. This reminds
yeah,
me of The
yeah,
Wire.
it's very also like detective tropey in that way, where they're
Yes,
like, "You're not a cop
cop
anymore.
show.
You got
Yeah,
to
you're
stop
not a
this
cop anymore.
investigation."
You
You
need to
know,
shut the up.
yeah, you got to get out of this investigation. It has nothing to do with you. He's like, "But it does." It's like it has those tropes, but they're so. Oh my god! Watch the
But
damn movie,
the
guys.
main the main protagonist though, you're always rooting for him and he's
Hmm.
always a step ahead of everybody else. That's and
It's
they're
indicative to
very
like. Yeah. It's
They do
indicative of what's going on.
yeah, and they do a very good job of telling the story from the perspective of the viewer where you kind of they tell the story in a way that like it lets you in on a little secret that nobody else knows, and you're always like one tiny step ahead of the plot, but you kind of have an inkling of what's going on, but you don't have the idea, and then they throw the idea at you and you're like, oh, okay, oh wow, and they're doing this through the whole movie, and it's really surprising and it's really pleasant, and that's the experience I had,
I
and that's where they kind of present that idea.
This is one of those films. Like I know everyone's a genius. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Rain Man. But this is one of those movies where you just want to stop trying to figure it out and just enjoy the ride.
Take it in,
Just take
absolutely.
it in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, as Bruce Lee said, empty your cup, and just take in what's going on. Because if you try to figure this out the whole time, it's gonna kind of wreck it for you. But at the
absolutely.
yeah,
I
uh,
totally agree.
like just sit back and watch a movie for once. Like let guys like us review it and do an overview. You don't have to. That's why you're watching this because we're doing it for you. So just watch the movie. And then you can agree
Fifth
with us or
fifth
disagree.
spoiler warning.
Dude, that bear freaked me out
Oh
for
yeah,
real.
that bear. Oh, there's more to that bear than
Then
screenshots meet the eye.
oh for sure. But when he picked it up and I'm like, what is going on? This is nuts.
And then he takes it in his house with him. I'm like, what the man? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, well we find out.
And then
So
yeah, this part from the hospital because you're like, who is that guy in the hospital bed? Well, we know who that guy is in the hospital bed. If you look closely, you recognize him.
exactly. And you got the high school kids doing the same cult type mentality behavior in the hospital. Um, he grabs this guy, basically, from earlier, the
Yeah.
whatever, the attitude kid. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I thought he was helping you, and now you're just gonna like he straight up arrests him, but he's not a cop anymore. So I'm like, you can't do
No,
that.
it's not an arrest. That's a kidnapping.
Yeah, that's a kidnapping. And then he just beats the absolute living hell out of him. I'm like, what is happening here? Ah!
Yeah.
But it's not in a frustrating way. It's just the
No.
way it's moving forward, right? I'm like, eh, like I said, you don't want to try to figure things out. Just watch it. Because I,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, and then it's like, no, don't do that. Just watch the damn film. It says it'd be so much easier, trying to figure out everything that's going on. And we go back there. He's back at the hospital. We see the girl with that horrible haircut, his neighbor.
That his neighbor's daughter.
Hmm.
And uh oof, uh
Yeah, she's like cutting
I
his
mean,
hair and shaving
if
him.
you're this far in the review, then you don't care about spoilers.
Oh.
Um the detective guy, the main character, he actually slept with her mother.
Mm,
He had an affair with her mother, and that was his dirty little secret that he was keeping from the world. Um, and he lost his wife and his child in a car accident.
yeah, we're
That was
actually
a Go
that's like
ahead.
it's all the next stuff. That's okay. Go ahead. So we
But
see her
we see
creep.
her,
Mhm.
and all along she was a very like the
She's instrumental
um,
to the plot.
instrumental to not only the plot of the movie, but the the manipulation of the main
Hmm.
character, the main protagonist. And she basically breaks it down for him right in front of him. She's like, "Oh, that you thought that You thought that you had control of your own destiny and your own life. Well, guess what?
Yeah, there was no control.
Everything you've done up to this point, every moment of your life, every action you've taken, your whole marriage, having the kid, driving down a road, through a bridge, having an accident,
Hmm.
everything you've done is by our design. And
We're trying to make you empty, right?
but
You're the
she doesn't go that far. She's just like, we've been
no,
manipulating you.
you're the perfect empty man. She says that eventually.
And then he goes into and then he goes into a fugue state.
Yeah, and he meets our HR Geiger skeleton thing.
Our Geiger-esque skeleton, and
Yep,
then we
there's
flash back to
there she
his
is,
affair with the
neighbor.
woman,
Yeah,
the girl with the box cut or the bowl cut,
Bob,
her mother.
the Bob cut. That's it's called a Bob, right? I don't know. I'm not a
I don't know.
hairstylist. Yeah, the mother who turned out to be actually quite very tempting, and yeah, that's it. That's where we are with the screenshots tonight. Because I didn't want to take it too far, I felt we should just discuss things. So, are we going to straight up spoil this for the world right now?
Well, I think we kind of already have,
All right,
but
let's.
it's
I'm going to say my interpretation of it. I figure after his because of the affair, he wasn't paying attention to his wife and kid. They got in an accident avoiding a deer. They both died. He went into a state of huge depression. And the next door neighbors were actually part of that cult, obviously. And that's
the
when
daughter. I don't know if the mother was.
it's hard to say. I mean, the level of manipulation there is very
Yeah,
high.
because when he called her on the phone, she was like, "What? I don't know who you're talking about." I remember that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, she
Yeah,
just
and
like,
she's
I don't
like,
know who
"Who
you
are
are.
you?"
Don't
Yeah,
call me.
yeah. Who the hell are you?
And they're
So maybe she
essentially,
was in on it.
yeah, like they're essentially creating this guy's emptiness to be fulfilled by this
Empty man.
from another dimension or another plane of existence, and
Yes.
he's the one transmitting the message. But he was super spoilers, guys. He was the empty man the entire time, and that's why this is my interpretation. Though that's why when he meets the cult people, they all act the way they do. They don't know what to do if they haven't been informed or something. That's why those kids are falling to their knees in front of him. There's the symbolism of the hospital at the end there, and she's saying that like he's here because it takes a great amount of strength and energy for somebody to be
Yeah.
receiving this message from a different plane of existence and to be transmitting it to the followers. At one point, I actually thought maybe that's him in the hospital bed, but he kills that guy. So
Yeah, he shoots him in the head.
yeah, like
He
this.
thinks because it's funny because when I was watching the movie,
Mhm.
uh, when he first enters the hospital and sees that guy, I was like, because I'm one of those people who like shouts at movies, and I'm like, just shoot him in the head. That's like the first thing I shouted out. I was like,
Like,
shoot this guy in the head, be done with it, it's over. And
mhm.
like, he comes to that conclusion later, but you know, in that moment where he shoots the guy in the head and he turns around and he's kind of dumb, he instead of
Yeah,
using one bullet because the guy's like half comatose, you don't need to use a full clip, and he empties the full clip into this guy's head. He makes this guy's head a raspberry pie instead of just one bullet. And then
yeah,
he turns around and he's like, and then all the hospital staff are like, and then they all just start bowing to him, and you're like, oh, and that's the
Yeah.
moment you're like, and
What's
that's
going on here?
everything unravels in front of you, and it's just like the layers of
Yeah.
this movie. That's when everything hits you, and you're like, oh, like this is it's definitely like a movie worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're at this point, this surprise has been spoiled, but it's still worth a watch. It's a great. I enjoyed myself very much, and I feel sorry
too.
for anybody who's watched this stream to this point who hasn't seen this movie, because
Yeah, we just spoiled it. We destroyed it right
we
there.
just
But
spoiled it. We just, well, no, I wouldn't say we destroyed it, because I'm actually looking forward to the second time I watch this movie, because this is
I might,
definitely one of those movies where you
you
watch
might
it
even
a
have
second
another
time
opinion.
and you pick up on things that you didn't pick up on before. I wish I could think of there are a very small handful of movies where if you watch them a second time you pick up on things
Like
that you
Memento.
yeah and
This is a good example.
yeah and, yeah, that was the one I was going to bring up, but one of those situations where that's the one with Guy Pearce and the chick from the Matrix, right?
Yeah, and you can
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it forward. You can watch it forwards or backwards, and you're still gonna find it
You're
different.
gonna take things from it from the second time around. I'm trying to think of other movies, but this is definitely one of those movies. I'm looking forward to my second watch, and yeah, it's just an excellent movie. I really enjoyed myself. I was really pleasantly surprised. I the whole idea of the movie, the whole experience of me watching it rather was a lot like Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise, where you're not expecting something that is like that takes you to that level. You're not expecting it, and again, the same experience I had with Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. That movie, absolutely great experience. It's like a roller coaster ride from beginning to end.
And still, you're still thinking, and there's different layers and pieces to it. And you know what I mean? Like, Edge of Tomorrow is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, I highly recommend it. We should review that sometime too.
I thought we did.
No, we never did that one. No. We were talking about it, but you know, maybe
it's very Edge of Tomorrow-esque, and it's. I mean, if you watch a movie for the first time and you're not really expecting it to be really that good, and then it's really that good.
For me, like the casting, and like, actually, it's just the casting because you don't know who these people are. That was kind of, and then you still.
Yeah, but that's secondary though.
Really. I know, but I still get dragged into it where I'm
absolutely.
You know, where I'm caring about this guy's crazy investigation. And I like that about like detective films. You know, you had some common tropes there. But at the same time, it's like he's literally investigating himself. And that alone is so meta. And the way everything ties into itself at the end. It's like, okay, so that 22 minute and 36-second sequence all of a sudden adds up to something.
Yeah, it closes the loop.
That is, it's like a great release. Just, you know? Yeah. Oh, it's like I've been edging for 2 hours to figure this out. Then, oh yeah, thank you. Wonderful.
Oh, I was saying they got bought out by the Antichrist of the entertainment industry.
Honestly, like I was on a website earlier, and it showed like the last few films released by 20th Century Fox, And like each one of those was a film that unexpectedly I found very good and entertaining, including the New Mutants. I don't care what anyone has to say about that film. I liked it.
I haven't seen it.
It had Macy Williams from Game of Thrones, so the youngest daughter, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Who
it's
does she
like
play?
no idea, but her and another chick get it on. That was pretty awesome. So Jesus. Beep. Where's my beep button? But it introduced like that X-Men movie. You know, the New Mutants is part of X-Men. It introduced a lot of characters that we know and love from the comics, and I think it did them a lot of justice. He's if you're just listening, this is on Spotify.
Yeah, you can't hear it.
Our friend has a pool noodle, and he's pleasuring it on camera.
Yes. This is my pool noodle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
All right. So let's get into final thoughts here in our review. I personally, out of 10 bags of microwave popcorn, I'm gonna give this a solid 6 bags.
6 seems pretty high praise for a 6.
If you watched it in the past 2 days, it went from a 2.9 on the standard rating charts all over the internet to a 5.9. So people are they're starting to pay attention.
Yeah,
It's not a 10. You know, it's not The Godfather, but for a horror detective mystery, it's a 6.5. It's solid. You know, and like I said, I am waiting for his next outing, this director, because I think this was it's not just like an ambitious take, you know, where like the director's overreaching their bounds. I think with a little more money, a little more, you know, a bigger budget, some bigger actors to draw people in, let him really explore. I think his next movie is going to be way up there. Unless Disney, I don't know, they probably just kicked him to the curb. Get out of here.
Well, yeah, and the thing
That
is
sucks.
with this movie, now, you know, I've always said that Rotten Tomatoes is one of the most useless review aggregator sites out there.
Oh,
but Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter versus the audience score, this is the one movie where the tomato meter was right and the audience score was wrong. And I don't understand why the audience score is 39% and the tomato meter is 75%. The professional reviewers got this one right.
Just like us, the professional viewers.
Any
reviewers.
Negative review of this movie that I looked at, you know, I did do a fair amount of research into the reviews of this movie because I thought this was such a good movie that it didn't deserve the bad press that it got. So I delved a little bit into the press that it did get, and the negative press that it got. The critics that gave this a negative review gave some garbage shit. 100% awesome reviews on Rotten Tomatoes where they were either political or it was just some crap to their taste, and it wasn't like a general view of how well this movie was made. It was them specifically, how they liked it. Now, the individualist in me, I'm going to give them credit for saying I didn't like this personally. Credit to them for saying that, but me personally, I love this movie. This is out of 2021. This is one of the favorite views I've had. I would give this Oh man, I want to say I'd give this one an
How many
8,
bags of popcorn?
somewhere between 8 and 9 out of 10 because
Wow.
I was at the edge of my seat the whole time. I enjoyed it. Um, you know, even my significant other who is very critical of movies,
Right.
if she's not asleep halfway through it,
Right.
then it's pretty good. And she was pretty close to it seemed like she was pretty close to the edge of her seat through the whole thing, just like me. And at the end, we had a talk, and I was like, that was a great movie," and she agreed. That alone, I mean, me personally, I'm very enthusiastic about stuff. Like, there's movies that I've reviewed, even on this show, that I should have given a lower review to in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh yeah, for
this
sure, dude.
one, this one, I honestly can say, I mean, I'm giving it a conservative 8 to 9 out of 10. I
Okay.
really enjoyed
We're gonna we're,
myself.
we're gonna go with the 8,
Yeah,
and
we'll go with the 8.
we go with the 8 and the 6.5, and with my powers of deduction, this movie is a solid 72%, guys. Boom. Check it out. Right?
So we gave it 72%,
Yeah,
and Rotten Tomatoes gave it 75.
exactly. Exactly.
This might be the first movie that we've reviewed where Rotten Tomatoes might have been right,
Very
and we
seldom
were
ever
wrong.
happens. But no, I think a 72% watchability rating from the boys at We Are the Night is a damn good review. And you guys should check this out. If you're busy and you don't have time for a slow burn movie, no. Just
No,
have one of those days. Obviously
post
not a
dinner,
yeah.
make a big bowl of popcorn,
Oh yeah.
get your snacks ready. This is like Parasite.
Hmm.
You gotta pay attention. This is not a movie that distractions are gonna
Yeah. Put your phone
go
away.
well with.
Don't
Yeah.
sit there on Twitter going, "I'm watching this movie," and then you're not paying attention. No. It's all about me. No, watch the damn film. It's not about you. You're not in the movie. Just watch it. Check it out.
Yeah.
And if you like our review or you dislike our review, leave some comments. We love comments.
Yeah, just
Obviously.
hit that bell,
Yeah.
thumbs up.
Hit follow. Do what you gotta do. And just gonna say to everyone over on Spotify, thanks for listening. I hope we visually described this for the mind enough. And yeah, I think we're done here. I think we did it. It's been a while. Love reviewing movies with my boy. And we'll try to get more content out there for you guys. Just at the moment, this is a hobby radio station. I'm not even sure how legal it is what we're doing, but enjoy the content. And maybe we'll get there someday. So with that, from me and my friend here, you can't break that
We
human
love you
spirit.
all. Oops.
We do. That's okay.
Love
do
you
love
all.
y'all. We love you all.
We love you all.
We do. Thanks, guys. We can't do without you. Everyone have a great night. And have a happy Thanksgiving. Eat some turkey. Watch this damn movie. Boop.
Hey.
Oh.